They were brought in to lose, outmatched, overlooked, and forgotten. But in boxing, it only takes one punch to rewrite the story. What if Buster Douglas can take a punch as well as he throws one? A commentator mused before the opening bell. If he gets that dynamic head movement going, he can pull it off tonight, no doubt about it. These are the nights where legends like Douglas, RAHMAN, and Andy Ruiz Jr. rose up, where champions like Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, and Anthony Joshua fell, and where the world was left stunned and speechless. This is a chronicle of the sweet science's most shocking upsets. Iron Mike Tyson entered the Tokyo Dome ring as an indomitable force of nature, an undefeated 42-1 favorite and the most fearsome presence in sports. Across from him stood James Buster Douglas, a 29-1 underdog who had already lost his mother to a stroke 23 days prior. The bookies saw a grotesque mismatch. Douglas saw destiny. From the opening bell, Douglas boxed brilliantly, utilizing his long jab, nimble feet, and superior reach to frustrate Tyson. He moved fluidly side to side, snapping Tyson's head back and never letting him establish his rhythm. In the eighth, Tyson briefly turned the tide, crumpling Douglas with a vicious uppercut. But in a display of unfathomable resolve, Douglas rose, beat the count, and fought back with redoubled determination. As the rounds wore on, Tyson's left eye began to swell grotesquely. His legs started to betray him, and Douglas grew increasingly emboldened. In the fateful 10th, Douglas unleashed a hellacious flurry, rocking Tyson with uppercuts and hooks. A final thunderous right sent Tyson sprawling to the floor for the first time in his career. He fumbled for his mouthpiece, struggled to rise, and collapsed back down as referee Octavio Marin told the 10 count. The impossible had happened. Let that be a lesson to you all, a beaming Douglas declared in the post-fight pandemonium. Never bet against the underdog, because we always have a puncher's chance. Buster Douglas had knocked out Mike Tyson and orchestrated the most monumental upset in boxing history. The heavyweight division was rocked again when champion Lennox Lewis, a dominant 20-1 favorite, faced lightly regarded RAHMAN in South Africa. Lewis had avenged his only loss and was at the peak of his powers. But whispers swirled that he had taken RAHMAN lightly, filming a movie role in the weeks prior. "I'm going to shock the world," RAHMAN boldly proclaimed. The challenger was given little chance at 20-1 odds. The early rounds were largely unremarkable as both giants pawed with jabs, aiming to establish their range. But in the fifth, everything changed in a flash. RAHMAN uncorked a seismic overhand right that detonated flush on Lewis's jaw. The champion crumpled to the canvas, eyes vacant, as referee Daniel van de Wiel tolled the fatal 10. A new king was crowned in the most astonishing fashion possible. As the crowd roared in disbelief, tears of joy streaming down his face. The man once derided as having no heart had toppled a legend and seized the throne with a single concussive punch. "I told you I would shock the world," an elated RAHMAN said afterwards. "I knew I could beat him. I knew I had the power." The script flipped in similar fashion when unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua made his American debut against late replacement Andy Ruiz Jr. Despite his fast hands, the Dowie Ruiz was a 15-1 underdog against the chiseled champion. But from the third round on, the narrative was turned on its head. Joshua dropped Ruiz early, but the underdog rose and stormed back, felling the champion with a left hook and right hand. Joshua survived the round but emerged on rubbery legs. Ruiz seized his moment, dropping Joshua twice more with precise combinations, leaving him sagging wearily on the ropes as the referee waved it off. In a stunning reversal, the overlooked underdog had battered the champion into submission. "I made my dreams come true," an ecstatic Ruiz said afterwards. "I just make history. The sky's the limit." Eleider Alvarez was expected to use his experience to turn back the challenge of Joe Smith Jr., but Smith had previously shocked the boxing world by retiring the legendary Bernard Hopkins, and lightning would strike again. As the rounds progressed, Smith's relentless pressure began to wilt the favorite Alvarez. In the ninth, a left hook and overhand right sent Alvarez crumbling to the floor. The former champion struggled to beat the count, but it was academic. Smith had scored a spectacular one-punch knockout. "I'm not surprised," Smith said afterwards. "I know I have the power to beat anyone." Mauricio Lara was a relative unknown when he stepped in on late notice to face Josh Warrington, an undefeated champion coming off a career-best win. Warrington was an 11-1 favorite, the hometown hero expected to roll. But LARA came out firing, his powerful hooks quickly getting the champion's attention. In the fourth, a left hook badly wobbled Warrington. A follow-up barrage dropped in heavily. The beating continued, and in the ninth, with Warrington slumping on the ropes, the referee mercifully intervened. The 11-1 underdog had demolished the undefeated champion. "I came here to knock him out, and that's what I did," LARA said. "I'm ready for anyone now." Teofimo Lopez, coming off a career-defining win over Vasily Lomachenko, was a heavy 10-1 favorite over unheralded, mandatory challenger George Kambosos Jr., but the Australian started fast, tagging the champion and even dropping him in the first. The bout turned into a back-and-forth war, with Kambosos seeming to land the cleaner blows. In the end, the scorecards revealed a split decision upset. "I'm the emperor now," a jubilant Kambosos proclaimed. "All of you doubted me, but I proved you wrong." In 1994, Mexican legend Julio Cesar Chavez was a colossal favorite over relative unknown Frankie Randall. Chavez had been champion for over a decade and was considered near invincible. But Randall came out aggressively, using his speed to dictate the fight. In a stunning upset, Randall not only outboxed Chavez, but scored the first knockdown of his career in the 11th. The scorecards revealed a split decision for Randall. The legend had been humbled. Dillian Whyte was expected to continue his climb toward a title shot against Alexander Povetkin. And through 4 rounds, all was going to plan, with Whyte dropping Povetkin twice. But in the 5th, one crushing uppercut from the Russian changed everything. Whyte crumpled heavily, unable to beat the count. The upset was complete. Lower down the scale, Rolando Romero kept his unbeaten record against Jackson Marines, but not without controversy. Many observers felt Marines had done more than enough to win, but Romero escaped with a unanimous decision that was widely booed. In 2018, another upset occurred when the rugged Martin Bakole defeated Olympic gold medalist Tony Yoka by stoppage. Yoka was expected to continue his rise, but had no answer for the relentless pressure of Bakole. More high-profile prospects were felled recently, when ZHANG outpointed Filip HRGOVIC over 12 grueling rounds, while Joe Joyce and Direct Chisora fought to a split draw in a bout most felt Joyce deserved to win. Both HRGOVIC and Joyce were heavy favorites expected to win comfortably. In one of the biggest upsets in recent memory, unheralded light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol befuddled and outboxed pound-for-pound king Canelo Alvarez to retain his title by unanimous decision. Canelo was a 5-1 favorite, but had no answer for Bivol's movement and sharp punching. "I'm sorry I broke your plans," Bivol said afterwards with characteristic understatement. Australia played host to another massive upset when OPETAIA, a 9-1 underdog, outpointed the heavily favored cruiserweight champion BRIEDIS. OPETAIA boxed beautifully and even broke his jaw midway through the bout, but fought through the pain to claim the title in front of a raucous hometown crowd. Former Olympian Josh Kelly was expected to pass his toughest test against the dangerous David AVANESYAN. But AVANESYAN applied educated pressure, repeatedly trapping Kelly and unloading with power shots. In the 6th, a barrage forced Kelly to take a knee and be counted out. Ricardo Mayorga was given little chance against the classy Vernon Forrest in 2003, but the brash Nicaraguan played spoiler. Mayorga charged out aggressively, flooring Forrest heavily in the 3rd. Forrest rose but was quickly overwhelmed, forcing the referee to stop the bout. Mayorga had offered one of the year's biggest shocks. In 2004, undefeated Finland David HAYE was expected to breeze through 40-year-old former champion Carl THOMPSON. But the cagey veteran used all his guile, luring the young lion into deep waters. In the 5th, a weary HAYE was battered on the ropes, forcing a stoppage. The star had been upset by the old maestro. One of the most stunning one-punch knockouts in championship history occurred in 2016, when Julius Indongo blitzed Edward Troyanovsky in just 40 seconds. A colossal left hand left Troyanovsky out cold on the canvas, crowning a new champion in less than a minute. In 2013, Chad Dawson was heavily favored to get past Adonis Stevenson en route to another title reign at 175 pounds. But Stevenson blitzed him in just 76 seconds. A massive left hand, leaving the former champion unable to continue. A new star had announced himself at light heavyweight. In one of the biggest upsets of 2012, Josecito Lopez battered Victor Ortiz into submission over 9 thrilling rounds. Ortiz was a heavy favorite expected to win comfortably en route to a showdown with CANELO Alvarez. But Lopez fractured his foe's jaw and forced a corner stoppage, throwing the division into a upheaval. Corey Sanders shocked the boxing universe in 2003 when he annihilated Vladimir Klitschko in 2 rounds. Klitschko was a monstrous 40-1 favorite, but Sanders dropped him 4 times in a destruction that was unthinkable at the time. It derailed Klitschko's career for years and remains one of the biggest heavyweight upsets ever. These upsets serve as a testament to the unpredictable nature of the sweet science. No matter how heavily favored, no boxer is invincible once the bell rings. The old saying in boxing goes, you're only 1 punch away from loss, or in these cases, 1 punch away from a legacy-defying victory. From Sanders' demolition of Klitschko to Sandoval's schooling of Munguia, these fights remind us that heart, determination, and self-belief can sometimes overcome even the most daunting odds. In boxing, the underdog always has a fighting chance.